Hi everybody, welcome back to What Emily Does. I am Emily and this is a tips and tricks video for Lapland after we have recently returned from Lapland for a 3-night in search of the Northern Lights trip. As you will have seen if you've seen our videos, we sadly did not get to see the Northern Lights, but we had a great time and I thought I would do this video just to give any hints and tips if you are visiting Lapland in the near future. So let's get into it. Firstly, if you are new here or if you have not already subscribed, please do subscribe. It really does help the channel. In a bit of a background, I visited Lapland in February 2024. I visited with my mum. We did a 3-night in search of the Northern Lights trip with Transun, which was arranged with my travel counsellor. The tour was a package deal, so it included flights, accommodation, food, snowsuits, snow boots, plus 3 excursions. You could do extra excursions and trips if you wanted, and I will talk about that. We flew from Bristol, but they do flights from lots of different places across the UK. When we flew into the airport, it was the only flight in that day, so we flew in, we got dropped off, and then they picked up the passengers going back to a different airport, so that it wasn't a return Bristol flight in effect. The people who were getting on our plane when we got off were going to a different place, and equally when we went home, the flight that came in came from a different place and was going back to Bristol. So it is a very popular trip. You can also do a 4-night if that is something you would like to do, but we did the 3-night and that was a really good trip. So getting into the tips and tricks. Number 1, if you are staying in the Davy Arctic Star Hotel, which is on the Swedish side of the Finnish-Swedish Lapland border, then the hotel is a cashless hotel. What that means is that anything you buy, so drinks or souvenirs that you buy at the hotel, will be put on your room, and then you'll pay by a card when you leave. They do not accept cash. We took some Swedish krona with us just in case and did not use any of it. So my recommendation would be not to take any Swedish krona. Excuse me, my Labrador he's about to jump up. There we go. He loves to be in the videos. So yes, so on the Swedish side, do not take any cash. The hotel is cashless, and the places that we visited in the Finnish side, so the Lapland store, the general store, the cafe, they all take card. So cash is not king in Lapland. Number 2, if you want to record your memories of doing the Huskies, the Call to the Wild Husky Safari, if you want to take any footage outside, get the special, and you've got a GoPro, so if you want to take any footage outside and you want to use your GoPro, then get the special cold weather batteries. I almost did not get these batteries and I am so glad I did. When we did the Husky ride, nobody else's GoPros worked. They all switched straight off because of how cold it was, and it wasn't even that cold. You know, we had a very mild trip and you know the snow was melting at points where we were there, so even though it wasn't that cold, and actually during quite a few of our days it was in the pluses, you know, it was plus 3 or 4 degrees at times, the camera batteries, when you're out in the elements and there's the wind as well, do not react well and the cameras will switch off. So if you want to capture those memories, absolutely get those GoPro batteries that are especially designed for cold weather. I will link them in the description because I'm so glad I took them. I used them throughout the whole trip and I'm so grateful I had them and I got them because I almost didn't, and then a lot of the footage you would not have seen that. So absolutely, if you want to capture those memories, get the batteries, they're worth it. Number 3, take a torch. When you are doing the forest trek, you are in pitch black. There are the odd tea light directing you on the trail, but otherwise you are in the forest. It is pitch black, you cannot see anything, so take a torch with you. Number 4, when you land in Lapland, before you get to your hotel, you will go to the suit and boot store where you will be given your snowsuit and snow boots. Please do not worry if you are larger. They really do cater for a lot of people. I was slightly apprehensive when I was going, but they literally just look at you, go off and get a snowsuit, and they are professionals who just can judge your size, and my snowsuit fit perfectly. So you don't need to take a snowsuit and you don't need to take snow boots. They will be provided and they keep you warm, so you wear them, absolutely wear them. It was actually really nice. It's just a giant baby grow, and it was so good just to be out in the elements, walking around, and you don't feel the cold because the snowsuit really does keep you warm. As I've said before, we had quite a mild trip. It's not always the way. Definitely wear your snowsuit, make the most of it. You pick it up before you get to your hotel on the first day, and then you don't have to give it back until about 12 o'clock on your last day, so you really can make the most of exploring what there is to offer in Lapland. I found when you were putting your snowsuits and boots on, I found the easiest way to do it was to put your boots on first and then unzip the trouser leg of your snowsuit and then put the snowsuit on top. That was by far the easiest way to put it on. Number 5, general clothing. You do not need to take special clothes to wear down to dinner. Just take your thermals, your leggings, your base layers. Nobody dressed up in our hotel. We were all in leggings, t-shirts, hoodies, and then had our snowsuits on when we were going outside. You really do not need to take anything even remotely fancy. Like, I put jeans in just before I went, thinking, oh, I may wear jeans down to dinner. Didn't wear them at all. And I didn't see a single person in jeans, so leave the jeans at home. Just take one outfit per day, and that would be leggings or trousers that keep you warm, and then a few layers for your top. Most of the time I had on a thermal base layer, a t-shirt, and then I think I just put my snowsuit on. When I was outside, I didn't have that many layers on, again because it was mild. However, a couple of weeks before we were there, it was minus 35 degrees, so you would have needed those extra layers. So absolutely take layers, but don't take anything like jeans or things for the evening because you just won't wear them. Number 6, moving on to the excursions. So the Huskies was the first excursion we did. So when you get to your hotel, when we got to the Davy Arctic Star, we went straight to our rooms. So you would drop your luggage off and then you would go down, you would register your credit card. If you wanted to do snowmobiling, you would need to register your driving license so they can see that you've got one. And then there is a board in reception that tells you the meal times for each of the days. It also tells you who's doing what each day, so it tells you who's doing which excursion. For us, our first excursion on the Friday was the Huskies, so the Call to the Wild Husky Safari. With the Huskies, you get picked up at your hotel and driven to the Husky place. You have a talk with the owner of the Huskies who tells you about the Huskies and about the Husky mushing. You are then asked whether you want to drive a Husky, or whether if neither of your party want to do it, or you have children under a certain age, then you will go in a guided sleigh, which is what Mum and I chose to do. With the Huskies, if you are choosing to sort of mush them yourselves, it's 2 people to a sleigh. One person will drive, the other will sit, and then you can swap over midway. You do need to have good mobility in order to sort of mush the huskies. They do actually just follow each other, so there is no sort of mushing involved. If you decide you don't want to do it, go in a guided sleigh, and with the guides there are 4 people to a sleigh, so you have the guide driving and then there's room for 3 people on the sleigh. You really do have the choice to get as involved as you want. Next up on the excursions was the forest track. So all the excursions I'm talking about at the moment are included in the price of the trip. It's a forest walk. We did this on the Friday evening, and we got picked up from our hotel and got driven to the Davy Arctic Lodge on the Finnish side, and then from there we did a short forest walk up to a sort of clearing where we sat down, had some gloggy, which is a beautiful, really lovely drink. I highly recommend it. The locals do tend to drink it, and it's an alcoholic version. For us on our tour, it was not the alcoholic version, just so that everybody could join in. What I will say is the forest trek, it is a trek. It's not the easiest walk when it's uphill in snow, so make sure you, as I said earlier, take a torch. And if you need walking sticks or anything, do take them as well. There are alternative routes. So for example, when we came back down, we went down the road option rather than through the forest. So just talk to the guides if that is an option you want to do instead. The next excursion we did, which was on the Saturday, was the Reindeer Camp. Again, we were picked up from our hotel and driven to the Reindeer Camp. And you do actually see this camp on your way to and from the airport. When we got there, we did the chat inside first, and then we did the reindeer sleigh ride. It is a really relaxing sleigh ride. So it's 2 people to a sleigh, and the reindeers are all lined up, one in front of each other. The reindeer, I had some very entertaining reindeer in front and behind us. The reindeer behind us very much wanted to walk next to me, and their antlers are very large, so just go careful. And then the reindeer who was sort of pulling our actual sleigh for quite a while just wanted to eat snow, so every so often our reindeer would veer to get some snow and then go back to the walk itself. It does a loop, and it actually goes on to a river, which is a frozen river, and you go round in a loop. At the reindeer camp as well, you also get the opportunity to lasso a fake reindeer, which is some horns attached to a piece of wood. So give that a go if you are tempted. I am terrible at coordination, so I did not chance it. You also get to see the reindeers that are around as well, and you learn about the history of the reindeers, the Sami people, and what the reindeers mean to the people in the region. So a really interesting stop. Our final excursion, which was the Snowmobile Safari, we did this on the Saturday evening. This is a Search for the Northern Lights Snowmobile Safari, but whilst the cloud had partially lifted, we sadly did not get to see them. So what you do is you go to the activity centre, which is very close to where you picked up your boots and snowsuits. You have a lesson on how to use a snowmobile. So you can choose either to go on a snowmobile, which is for 2 people. One person will drive, the other person will sit behind, and you can swap over halfway. Or you can go in the guided sleigh, which is a large sleigh pulled by one of the guides on a snowmobile. We opted for that, as did a couple of other people. And if you have children under a certain age, again, you'll need to go in the sleigh, as will they. So the sleigh takes you down from the activity centre, across the sort of road in Finland, and then over some swampland, which is at the moment is covered in snow, and then you go down onto the river and you drive up the river to a point where you're in the complete darkness to look for the Northern Lights. And again, you are given gloggy when you get to that stopping point, and it's just a really nice warming drink when you're out in the cold. You then drive back to the activity centre and then get your transfer. Number 10 is whilst you're in Lapland, what do you do whilst you're not on an excursion? Well, there's a few things you can do. On the Finnish side, you have a Lapland store which has everything you could possibly want to buy if you wanted a reindeer hide, if you want a Christmas decoration, if you want magnets, postcards, anything relating to Lapland, the Lapland store has it. On the Finnish side as well, you also have a cafe and a sort of a store where you can buy some bits and pieces and have a hot chocolate. And on the Finnish side at the Davi Arctic Lodge, you can go tobogganing and sledding down a hill there. On the Swedish side, there's a cafe and a tourist information centre, and there is also the northernmost church in Sweden. So definitely, if you have some free time and you don't have any excursions, do take a walk across the border from whichever side you are on and have a wander and explore. Number 11 is extra excursions you can book. So when you book the trip, you can also book extra paid excursions that are in addition to the ones that are already included. That includes things like snowshoes, igloos for the night, ice fishing, and different type of snowmobiling. If you are interested in doing them, my tip would be to book them before you go, because they sell out really quickly. And when our guide was talking us through on the welcome meeting, a lot of the excursions that people wanted to do had already sold out. So if you want to do any of the additional ones, definitely book them in advance. And number 12 is regarding flights and transfers. So the flight with Transun is a chartered flight. We had a charter with Enter Air. The flight was really good. It was a comfortable flight. The transfers from the airport to the hotel took around 40 to 50 minutes. And again, really easy to navigate. As soon as you get off the plane, you go through immigration and then you pick your bags up in a baggage room. You then go out to the front of the airport where your guides will tell you which bus you are getting on depending on which hotel you are going to. You are then given your information pack once you get on the coach and then taken to the snowsuit and boot shop to pick up your snowsuit and boots before then taken to your hotel. On the return journey, you're picked up from your hotel at a given time and that information is given to you on the hotel information board. You then get your coach to the airport. You go through check-in where you pick up your ticket and drop your bags off. You then go through security and into the departure room where there is a small cafe and shop. And then when you are ready to board the plane, you then go back through the immigration that it came through when you came in, and then you are then free to get back on the plane. So the airport is small and compact, but it does everything that it needs to do, and it was a really good experience at the airport. So there you go guys, that is my Lapland tips. If there is anything that you are unsure of or want to ask a question, please just ask any questions you have in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. We didn't see the Northern Lights as I have previously said, but that really didn't deter from the overall experience of the trip. I highly recommend the In Search of the Northern Lights trip with Transun, and I would definitely go again. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. If you have liked this video, please like it and subscribe. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.